Hello, my name is Thomas Foster. This will be my week 2 assignment. I realized that in my week 1 assignment, I had several mic and audio settings that were not working properly. So the audio probably sounded horrible. I think that I corrected most of these during this week's assignment. However, I digress. For this week's topic, we are to give a story. All right. About I don't know 5 6 years ago, me and my father was driving through the mountains. My dad is retired from the military, and we take a lot of trips through the country doing mostly random stuff. He liked collecting safes at one point. He had pretty extreme hobbies, to tell you the truth. He um he got contacted through Craigslist from a businessman in New York to take out a safe in his office building because his the like street that he was on was very small, and the only other option he had to get the safe out other than somebody to take it out by hand was to hire glazers to come in and take the windows out of the side of the building, and a crane to come in and take the safe out of the building. And that would cost just absolute ridiculous amounts of money for him that he just couldn't afford, when me and my father was willing to do it basically for the safe. We were being paid the safe that's being taken out. The business owner was simply ordered to take the safe out because it was causing foundation issues. He had installed a safe that was far too heavy for the supporting floor. Um, Once we got up there, we here I am saying a lot. I hate doing that. We get up there, and it was a fairly nice sized safe. It's about the physical size of most safes you would find at a Walmart or a Tractor Supply. However, safes that were made in this era, or mid to late 1800s, were made significantly better. Mostly because the materials that they used at that time was just amazing at retaining fire and security. Problem was, a lot of it was toxic stuff like asbestos, and believe one company had used like glass vials of what was it, basically mustard gas on the inside of the safe's doors, because at the time it was considered an irritant. What we know better now, those have been banned since then. However, once we got to New York, we got everything together to take this guy's safe out, and we ended up finding out that the safe itself was significantly heavier than he had anticipated. But luckily, me and my father thought ahead to compensate for that miscalculation if he were to make it. Brought enough straps. What we ended up doing was strapping. There was in the stairwell that we had to go down, right above the stairwell, like if I'm facing the stairwell, right above me would be a square hole that went through the roof. What we did was I took a piece of steel I-beam and laid it across the hole on the top side, and chained around it several times, and hooked the chain onto a 50 to 1 or 500 to 1 12-ton come along, I believe, and it was hooked up at an angle. And then even on that, we went around the corner and created a big bar across the doorway, which this was like a New York office building. It was made out of very large concrete reinforced steel. It's not like a home, so we're not taking a chance on breaking somebody's doorway. And we took another I-beam and set it up there, and had straps there for like reinforcement in case something were to go wrong and the safe fly down the stairs. And we couldn't afford that because right outside the door was the street. There was just like a 2.5 foot sidewalk, and then the main street to this part of New York. Um, we got it hooked up in this big spider web of chains and straps. We had probably 4 times what you should have needed to lower this safe, but we couldn't afford to take any chances, so we went overkill. We started lowering it down, and all of a sudden, a man that we had with us went into some sort of mental breakdown and went nuts on us. He didn't attack us, but he felt like he was claustrophobic and he needed to be outside. So what he ended up doing was he climbed on these straps and chains, and a lot of these straps and chains have quick release latches for safety issues. And if his foot would have hit one of those, it could have dropped this 4,900 pound safe down an entire flight of stairs like a giant ski and ran it straight into the traffic, guaranteed injuring people, most likely killing several people. But eventually we basically locked him into a back room to ensure his safety and ours. And it took us roughly 3 days to get the safe to the bottom of the steps. I understand this story probably not the most exciting and jumping out at you, but it's a very memorable story to me because of how much effort we had to put into putting these straps and chains to making sure this large safe wasn't going to slide down and harm anybody. But right after all of it was done, all the preparations that we'd done, it got all the way down to this one man doing something so colossally stupid and potentially killing dozens of people. And it's stuck in my mind ever since. I don't think I'll ever forget it. Anyway, I hope this story interested you a little bit. I like telling it. And stop recording.